Hey, so in this video, we're just going to go through the process of how to add in a product to your database and then how to do a product sale with patient payment and then also delayed patient payments. So we're going to start by going in the billing menu, and I'm just going to go through how to add in a product to your database or to manage your product database. So that would be the clinic product section in your billing menu. I'm in a training clinic right now that already has several products added and also has a sales tax percentage added in. But if you're doing a cash-only service that you're using as a product sale, like an injection service, for example, then you wouldn't necessarily need to do a sales tax percentage. Just in this scenario, this clinic has products that have a sales tax amount added. So I'm going to go ahead and start by clicking Add New Product. And I can put in a product name here. So I'm just going to call this Injection 3 cc's. And for your description, it doesn't really have to be anything fancy. And then you put your price that you are charging the patient in retail. So for example, if this is a $1,000 service, I'll put in $1,000. Cost is optional, you can leave that blank. And then quantity, I'm going to put in 0, and then I'm going to choose to keep this in stock. So this is an injection service, we're not going to be applying tax, so I'll uncheck that. And then by keeping in stock, this is just indicating that it's not something that I'm going to have the system count for me. So it's just being kept in stock all the time. All right, so once I have that product added to my product database, at that point in time, I can go into a patient file and actually sell that product. So we're going to use Emily Anderson's account here. We'll click on her name. You can also search for the patient in the upper left-hand corner. And we'll open up the patient's menu and go into Add Product. So this database happens to have a lot of products, so I'm just going to go ahead and do a simple search to pull up my injections. All right, so I'm going to click that this one is being sold. Now, if for any reason I'm selling this at a reduced price, I can immediately change my price with this box right here. So for example, if I'm selling it for $750 instead of $1,000, that's where I can change that. And you'll notice that my subtotal, and then if I did have sales tax, that would also be reflected in the reduced price here as well. If I'm increasing my quantity, I would do that here in the far right. And then over to the left, I'm going to indicate the service date or date of service for the transaction. Choose a seller. So we'll choose Todd as the seller on this one. And in the lower left-hand corner of my screen, it's going to ask me to put in payment information. So the system is going to assume that the patient had paid in full. If the patient had made a partial payment, then you can click that, choose the payment method, and then change the post date if you need to backdate this if you're late putting this in, for example. And then you can put in your payment amount. So for example, if Emily had only paid $500, then we can enter that in. And then if I want a receipt printed, I would check that little box there and then save. So my little think bar is processing. Now because I chose to do a receipt, then now the system is going to generate that receipt here for me. So I can print that out. All right, and then so if I go into Emily's product history, I can see now that here's that injection and that it's partially paid, and then here's that amount. So if I ever need to do a write-off to a product, I can do that by clicking this Add Payment button and choosing a write-off in the lower right-hand corner. So for example, if she comes in again to make the payment, but we're only going to have her paid $200 and we're reducing off another $50, I can do a write-off through here. All right, so let's say Emily comes in again and she wants to pay off the rest of her injection. So when we go into her file, we'll go into Add Payment, and then we can put in the payment method, change a post date if needed, and then put in the amount that she had paid. And then to go through and apply that payment to a product, then we just go back into that same screen, go to Apply to Product, and then indicate what we're paying off and then the corresponding amount. All right, so let's do another scenario here. We'll go into Mary Jones's file, and let's say Mary is paying in full for her injection. This is a much simpler scenario, so we'll go straight into her file, right into Add Product. We'll pull up the injection service here, indicate that it's being done at full price, patient paid in full, credit card, time of service, seller is Todd. And as simple as that, my payment amount is $1,000 by credit card for the injection. I'm going to hit Save, and I'm done. Now these product sales are going to accumulate in my billing menu under product folder, under product sales. And so the rule of the product folder is that it will stay here until it's at a zero balance. So what you can do when you come here is do a select all and then change them to complete. And it'll send everything with a zero balance to complete, and then anything that has a remaining balance will remain in your product folder. And so from here you can go in and edit the product or go into the patient's file, so you can go into their product history, so you can make payments to products or write things off accordingly or generate a receipt. All right, so that is how to do a product sale.